Chapter 7. These principles being established, let us now discuss the proper structure of the plot, since this is the first and most important thing in tragedy. Now, according to our definition, tragedy is an imitation of an action that is complete and whole and of a certain magnitude, for there may be a whole that is wanting in magnitude. A whole is that which has a beginning, a middle, and an end. A beginning is that which does not itself follow anything by causal necessity, but after which something naturally is or comes to be. An end, on the contrary, is that which itself naturally follows some other thing, either by necessity or as a rule, but has nothing following it. A middle is that which follows something as some other thing follows it. A well-constructed plot, therefore, must neither begin nor end at haphazard, but conform to these principles. Again, a beautiful object, whether it be a living organism or any whole composed of parts, must not only have an orderly arrangement of parts, but must also be of a certain magnitude, for beauty depends on magnitude and order. Hence a very small animal organism cannot be beautiful, for the view of it is confused, the object being seen in an almost imperceptible moment of time. Nor, again, can one of vast size be beautiful, for as the eye cannot take it all in at once, the unity and sense of the whole is lost for the spectator, as for instance if there were one 1,000 miles long. As, therefore, in the case of animate bodies and organisms a certain magnitude is necessary, and a magnitude which may be easily embraced in one view, so in the plot, a certain length is necessary, and a length which can be easily embraced by the memory. The limit of length in relation to dramatic competition and sensuous presentment is no part of artistic theory. For had it been the rule for 100 tragedies to compete together, the performance would have been regulated by the water clock, as indeed we are told was formerly done. But the limit as fixed by the nature of the drama itself is this: the greater the length, the more beautiful will the piece be by reason of its size, provided that the whole be perspicuous. And to define the matter roughly, we may say that the proper magnitude is comprised within such limits, that the sequence of events, according to the law of probability or necessity, will admit of a change from bad fortune to good, or from good fortune to bad.
Summary and reflection for Chapter 7.
In Section 7 of the Poetics, Aristotle shifts the focus to the proper structure of the plot, emphasizing its paramount importance in tragedy. According to the established principles, tragedy is an imitation of a complete action of a certain magnitude, characterized by a beginning, middle, and end. A beginning, Aristotle states, is something that does not itself follow anything by causal necessity, but naturally precedes something else. An end, on the contrary, is something that follows another thing either by necessity or as a rule, but has nothing following it. A middle is what follows one thing and precedes another. Aristotle asserts that a well-constructed plot must adhere to these principles, neither beginning nor ending at random. Drawing an analogy to the beauty of living organisms, Aristotle highlights that a beautiful object must not only have an orderly arrangement of parts, but also a certain magnitude. Similarly, a well-structured plot must possess a certain length that can be easily embraced by memory. Aristotle dismisses extremes, objects that are either too small or too large, drawing a parallel to plots that are either too brief or excessively long. The limit of length, he argues, is not dictated by external factors like dramatic competition, but by the nature of the drama itself. Aristotle suggests that the proper magnitude is determined by the ease with which the events can be embraced by the memory. He notes that a greater length can enhance the beauty of the piece if the sequence of events, following the law of probability or necessity, allows for a change from bad fortune to good or vice versa.
Practical exercises.
Writers. Structured short story. Write a short tragic or dramatic story that adheres to the principles of a well-structured plot, ensuring a clear beginning, middle, and end. Perspicuous plot development. Craft a longer narrative that explores the change from bad fortune to good or vice versa, adhering to the law of probability or necessity for a perspicuous plot. Composers. Musical composition with emotional shifts. Compose a musical piece that reflects the emotional shifts in a well-structured plot, capturing the transition from one state to another. Memorable melody within limits. Create a musical composition with a memorable melody that aligns with the limits of length suggested by Aristotle, ensuring the piece is easily embraced by memory. Dancers. Choreography reflecting plot elements. Choreograph a dance piece that mirrors the elements of a well-structured plot, with distinct movements representing the beginning, middle, and end. Emotional transitions in dance. Explore dance movements that convey emotional transitions, symbolizing the shift from bad fortune to good or vice versa in a narrative. Actors. Performance of a structured scene. Perform a scene that adheres to the principles of a well-structured plot, ensuring clarity in the beginning, middle, and end. Embodying emotional changes. Act out a scene that involves a character's transition from one emotional state to another, aligning with the principles outlined by Aristotle. These exercises encourage artists to engage with the core principles of plot structure as outlined by Aristotle, emphasizing the importance of a well-constructed narrative with a proper beginning, middle, and end.